Good day to all our listeners. This is Adeline, your host, subbing in for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with Chris Janakis and a news wrap with Micah Gibbs to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. We have a very special guest, Dr. Martin, with us today. You'll definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us. Before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsor, so hang tight because we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. In campus news, USM celebrates achievements in scholarship and creativity at Annual Research Day. Faculty, staff, and students at the University of Southern Mississippi participated in various research, scholarship, and creative activities at the Annual Research Day earlier this month at the Marine Education Center in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. The event highlighted dynamic insights into marine science, hydrography, forensic science, health, and more, truly reflecting USM's prestigious Carnegie R1 Research University status. The gathering brought all USM campuses together for a day-long event. Presentations and interactive activities allowed for attendees to dive deeper into concepts not familiar to their own areas of study and come together for the love of science and community. Research Showcase Awards were presented at the end of the day. Also in campus news, the USM School of Construction and Design faculty awarded research grants from the U.S. Department of Labor. 3 faculty members in the School of Construction and Design at USM are developing a comprehensive training program tailored to construction industry professionals on the safe use, handling, storage, and disposal of lithium-ion batteries with an emphasis on hazard identification, preventative measures, and emergency response. The one-year project is made possible by a Susan Harwood training grant through the U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration Agency. The team includes Dr. Fan Zhang, Associate Professor and Construction Management Program Coordinator, assistant professors, and co-principal investigators. They expect to have students join them in their research efforts soon to obtain their goal of mitigating risks and ensuring worker safety and site security, as lithium-ion batteries are increasingly used in tools, equipment, and energy storage systems on construction sites. In Hattiesburg news, the community showed out Sunday on USM's campus, adding a few more names to holiday shopping lists, all in support of the Wesley Worldwide Wishes program. USM's Hub City Wesley said in previous years the organization rarely met face-to-face with the people fulfilling wish lists. This year was a different story. The organization hopes the new method will help address the growing need. In response, members of the community were making their lists and checking them twice. Parrish and his wife, Allison, flipped through all 4 binders of the wish lists Hub City Wesley had laid out. Allison Parrish said the couple was grateful to be in a position to help. Hub City Wesley will be open Monday and Tuesday for anyone who wants to go in and pick out a few wish lists as well. In Mississippi news, the holidays are quickly approaching, and Pine Belt families are looking to make sure their children have a normal Christmas regardless of their living situation. For the past 40 years, the Domestic Abuse Family Shelter has served 11 counties around the Pine Belt. The shelter is for men and women who are survivors of any type of abuse. Numbers tend to go up and down for the families they serve, but right now the shelter is full. Most of those at the shelter are children, and the organization said it needs help with age-appropriate gifts for teens this Christmas. The organization has created an Amazon wish list and launched the Gold Horizons Toy Drive, with donation drop-off points at Northeast Jones High School and the shelter itself. However, the needs extend beyond the time families spend at the shelter. While the program typically lasts 90 days, many families continue to need support as they transition into independent living. Essential household items such as pots, pans, towels, and linens are in high demand to help them establish a fresh start. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the sports segment. Let's dive into what's coming up for Golden Eagles athletics over the next few days. First up, the Golden Eagles football team is back in action this Saturday, November 30th, taking on Troy. It's a big game, and with the season heating up, this is one you won't want to miss. Whether you're in the stands or cheering from home, be sure to show your Golden Eagles pride. Go Eagles. The holiday week means it's a little quieter for sports until the weekend, but Saturday kicks things back into high gear. Alongside football, the men's basketball team will take the court to face Milwaukee. This is a great opportunity to support two of our teams in action on the same day. Then, on Sunday, December 1st, the women's basketball team will take on UAB. It's always exciting to see how the team performs as they head into the next stretch of the season. If you want to keep up with all the latest scores, schedules, and team updates, make sure to visit southernmiss.com. It's the best way to stay connected and support all of your favorite teams. That's your sports update for now. Stick around, there's more coming up after the break. As for our weather today, we're expecting a low of 51 degrees and a high of 67 under partly cloudy skies. For tomorrow, temperatures will range from a low of 49 to a high of 75 with no rain in the forecast. Thursday, we're expecting more of the same temperatures, but there's a 35% chance of rain, so you might want to keep an umbrella handy. As we head into the weekend, things will cool off significantly with temperatures dropping into the low 30s and no rain expected. Stay warm out there. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage with Chris Janakis describing his family's favorite way to prepare leg of lamb. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Chris Janakis of Meridian comes from a large Greek family. He discusses his favorite way to prepare leg of lamb.
Aside from avolebano soup, lamb is probably the thing I remember most about growing up Greek. Greeks love lamb, and if I had a big pit in the backyard and I can cook a full lamb, that would be the way to do it, but you can't get a full lamb around here, so leg of lamb is the choice. The main ingredients that I particularly like to marinate with are garlic. I love to put garlic in there because that's a traditional Greek add-on, if you will, to the food flavor. And I like to use beer or wine. They just create such a flavor, no matter how you cook it, whether you cook it in a deep baking kind of scenario or you cook it out on the barbecue. You marinate for 4 hours minimum, but overnight's the best way to do business. The flavors just dance on your tongue.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People, World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People, World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Dr. Martin in the Student Media Center.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Oh, sorry.
You're on.
We have Dr. Martin here with us from the Student Media Center. Thank you.
You said it was going to be a pleasure. Is it really going to be a pleasure? Probably not. I mean, I'm just saying. Maybe it is. See, that's the way I do things, unfortunately.
Well, you've been running the radio station here at USM for a while, and you wanted to talk about what students can expect working in the Student Media Center.
Right. So I think a lot of students that are involved in some of the media and communication classes, people who are either majoring or minoring, don't really sort of get kind of what we do. We'll go in and talk to them, and then they're, I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to stay away. And really, I think that this is an opportunity for people like yourself, Michaelan, Seb, who's engineering, to sort of put the classroom aspect into a more of a lab kind of setting. So whether a student wants to do a music show or possibly a podcast kind of personality type show or something like that, we have top-notch facilities, much better than they're going to find as an entry-level person, and I sort of feel bad sometimes about that. Our studios are so much more high-tech than a lot of mom and pop stations, and a lot of students that are graduating that want to go into radio are probably going to start at the very bottom. You've worked in radio over in Baton Rouge, right?
I
you shadowed anyway?
Yeah, I job shadowed at iHeartMedia.
So the way they do things over there is not terribly different from the way we do them here. I guess the biggest thing is that the mechanics are a little different, but not too much. But because you've still got a producer, you've still got someone that's helping to fact check and someone to book the show, and you're probably going to have an engineer that's not going to be part of the crew. Whereas at a small station, if you're going to have a public service segment, or what we would call public affairs, because that's what you have to have. Part of our license with the FCC is that we have to have things that enrich the community. And even at a small station, if you're engaging in that, you're probably going to be booking the show, you're going to be pre-interviewing the guest, you're going to be interviewing the guest, you're probably going to be your own engineer, and then if you're going to do any post-production, you're probably going to do that too. So this is a little bit unfair for some, but I think if I said, all right, so here's what you're going to do for your show, to a student, they'd be like, check please, no thank you, I think I want to go do something else. So I think it gives the opportunity for people that want to sort of move around and see what the different types of positions are like. And I think that it hopefully doesn't give them a false sense of what it's all about when they eventually go to look for a job. Like you had mentioned that you did some shadowing over in Baton Rouge with the iHeart station with one of the graduates of this program, actually, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so with that, your experience is kind of working as a producer, fill-in host sometimes, fill-in show booker sometimes as it kind of goes. What do you think that this has kind of brought you, or do you think this has enriched your classroom learning a little bit or any?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that so far, I mean, I'm a first semester freshman, so most of my classes are a lot of prerequisites. So this is definitely by far the most relevant experience that
you're going to be so far ahead of most of your other classmates when you actually start getting into the news writing and the other things that they're going to be like, what the heck? It's going to make things super easy for you. And that's what I would encourage anyone to do, is that putting those classroom skills into action makes it kind of come together. So when you eventually hit those classes, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, I've already kind of done that. So you really kind of put the cart before the horse and really started out doing a master's program, whereas everyone else is like, I don't know what a button is. Can you show me how to push this button? So, I think it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I think also a lot of the stuff that we do here at the radio station, if you're looking at it kind of from an outside point of view, like when I started, I was completely overwhelmed, and I was like, oh no, this is it seems like it's a lot. But, after spending almost a whole semester doing it, there's a lot of skills that you really pick up very fast. But I think that the key is getting those skills in this setting where you can apply it and have that real world experience that, personally, back home this Christmas, I'm going to help produce a show for a Christmas parade.
Oh, right on.
And, because of my experience here, I have some of those skills needed to where the producers, they felt good about having me come and kind of do like a little mini internship there. So
Yeah, so you're kind of used with organizing how stepwise you need to go from getting the guests to pre-interviewing and making sure that engineer, video producer, if you have as part of your thing, that they know their role. And one of the things I try to teach, and what I want you guys to do, and I think everyone's stepped up pretty much, is for everyone to have each other's back. So, like for today, since Abby's sick, you stepped up, and well, you did. I forced you to. I forced you to host because I was like, I don't want to do it, but it ended up being part of the show anyway. But no, I think if you look at the calendar and something's a wrong or gone awry, you can fix it. Or you can find someone to help you fix it, whether it's, having to book somebody on the spot, whether you're going to grab me or you're going to grab Dr. Beverly or Ed, Dr. Simpson, for a show or whatnot. That sort of knowing what the other roles are and being able to fulfill them if the need arises. Because typically in a real media situation, not to say that this is not real media, just because it's student run doesn't mean that it's any, denigration from any other sort of media. But the stakes in a commercial media situation are way different from the ones that we have here. And of course, we always, we want to strive to do as polished a show as possible, regardless. But it does allow you to correct those wrong things when they happen, because inevitably it's going to happen, whether you're doing a student-run production or you're involved in a commercial production out and in commercial world land somewhere. There are going to be the same sorts of issues that arise. Guests aren't going to show up sometimes. Somebody's going to get sick. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. Somebody's going to drop the ball. And being able to pick the ball up and then roll with it, that's really kind of a lot of what we go through here, and hopefully it's helpful, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I would agree that we definitely get a lot of practice dealing with some on-the-spot situations.
Troubleshooting, problem solving, thinking through things critically. I mean, that's really what you get in here that you don't necessarily get in a classroom kind of experience. Nothing against professors here, they're great. But I'm just saying, it's a different set of learning tools.
Right, for sure. Do you, I wanted to ask, in the Student Media Center, do you ever have any, professionals come in and talk about their experiences?
Oddly, we've tried to do that on Fridays, but what we found out is no matter if we say you've got to be there, this is compulsory, you've got to be there, just people don't show up. And it's like, I'm not going to waste someone's time and bring in my good friends that I've, have 25, 30-year relationships with for no one to show up. And that's on, I don't know if it's just students are like, I'm not going to do anything on Friday because I don't have to, or I've got something else I'd rather do, or whatnot. But, just to be honest, it's like, well, look, I'm not going to, burn some of my bridges just to offer something for someone. If no one's going to show up, Mike, stay at home. Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. But yeah, we've experimented with that on Fridays, and I think there's probably going to be a little bit of a change in the way things work for the spring. Not to scare anyone, but reassessing how we administer as leadership, how we administer our different sections. Whereas for instance, the person that's going to be in head of the Stratcom division, she's a professional from the coast, and so she's going to be doing a lot of things remotely. You got Dr. Beverly going to work with the paper. You've got Gary Wolverton, who's great, helping out with the paper and with Southern Miss TV. Dalton, Stanford, helping out with SMTV. But the way that we, I guess, instill kind of ownership and let the students kind of take ownership of the product, to whereas they'll feel a lot more pressure, I guess, to perform well and pressure to put on a good show, because if, something is wrong with this show, I mean, it reflects on the Prince, it reflects on SMTV, it reflects on Stratcom, it reflects on Creative Division. So hopefully people can sort of see that fulfilling their position, doing what they're supposed to do, is going to have a positive reflection on the rest of the group, the rest of the people. Because, we're all in this together. I mean, even though I'm, a faculty advisor for the station, it still carries my name. It still carries my stamp. People know that, And so hopefully students will take the challenge and move forward from there.
I really like that you brought up how it reflects on other people, because we have so many, every little job, even if it's just like small parts and pieces, if one person doesn't like get that done, it really affects the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
if I don't show up and do my producer tasks, we don't have a show. So how do the different like we have news wraps from our news
Multimedia
station.
journalist, yeah.
So how does everyone work together from the different departments?
Well, it's kind of it's a little interesting that way, because a lot of what we have are volunteers, and if someone's volunteering, for them to go, all I want to do is write, we say, well, no, you have to go do audio stories and you have to do a camera, and they're like, well, I'm not going to volunteer. So it's like a volunteer pretty much gets to sort of say, here's what I would like to do, but we also want to train them and bring them along as well, and hopefully they'll want to learn other aspects of it. Versus people that are hired as multimedia journalists. So if someone's hired as a multimedia journalist, part of their duty is, where's your story idea? So they turn those in, they divvy up who's going to cover what. Then they cover the event with a camera and take the sounds, take some of the natural sounds, come back, go in the studio and do their editing on Premiere with that. And then they're going to create an audio version of the story as well as a textual version of the story. And with the media climate, you've really got to have those three skills. It's not enough just to do audio. So you got to get some video for YouTube and the website, get some text for the website, if you're doing digital creation or whatnot. So I think all of those three working together, and the multimedia journalists that do that are going to be way ahead of the game when they actually go to get a job in a commercial news environment, because they're like, oh, I did that in college. And it's like, yeah, no one else really kind of does it that way. And that's a big Dr. Simpson thing. We started working toward that a long time ago. And it's kind of starting to come to fruition. We're starting to see a lot of our students go out into the commercial world of media, and because they've got a leg up on a lot of other people, because they're like, oh, I can already do this. I've already produced this. I've done this. I've written stories. I've done digital creation, and so they've got a lot more experience than other graduates and other people that are looking for jobs. And it's been a plus. I think it's been a really net plus.
Yeah, I think USM does a really, really great job at preparing students for the real world, because I've just out of curiosity looked at the job market, especially for media, and if you're looking for a job in this field, you can say, I have a degree, but if you don't have that experience, I mean, nobody wants, like, the newbie,
Right.
You want to have to do as little training as possible. So it really makes you a lot more marketable to employers.
Yeah, and if you're going to do media and you say, all I want to do is write, it's not going to really get you that far. It's like, okay, well, yeah, great, that's fine, but, I really need video creation. I need some creativity going on. I need some audio creation. I got to have some other stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this.
Absolutely. I love talking about what I do.
Yeah.
And what you guys do, too.
Coming up, we've got a news wrap from Micah Gibbs reporting on flu shots. So check it out.
It's that time of year again. The temperature is dropping and the leaves are shedding their green hue. For most, it means it's time to break out their favorite sweater. But health professionals advise that people get their COVID shots and their flu shots early this year.
The season usually starts around the beginning of August. However, we did receive them a little earlier this year. It was the end of July, so you want to get it as soon as possible because it takes about 2 weeks for it to actually start working into your system.
According to the Center for Disease Control in 2022 and 2023, Mississippi ranked the lowest nationwide in vaccinations, but ranked second highest with nationwide death rates due to the flu.
It's very important so that your system can start functioning to develop immunity to make sure that it is fighting against the flu as it is developing. And as well, it'll be in your system so that you'll be ready for the season as it starts.
Free flu shots are available to those with medical insurance or through Medicare Part B. If you do not have insurance or Medicare, you will be charged $115 for a senior dose vaccine or $68 for a seasonal vaccine. For more information, visit cvs.com/flu shots. Micah Gibbs, SM2 News.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We are so grateful for Seb Hodges, our audio engineer, and McKaylin Williams, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Shania Williams, our executive producer, Oari, and our general manager, Dr. Martin. And of course, thank you to all our guests and listeners for making the show what it is. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. Thank you all for listening, and remember to stay golden, stay brilliant, and always Southern Miss to the top. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. I'm your host and assistant producer, Adeline Fields, signing off.
Sponsorship comes from Southern Beverage, your local Michelob Ultra distributor. Michelob Ultra has significantly fewer carbs and calories per serving if you are watching those in your diet. You can reach Southern Beverage by phone at 601-268-9111, or you can find them on the internet at southernbeverage.com. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri, and Southern Beverage ask you to please drink responsibly.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.